Hey there, it's your friendly neighborhood, here to spin a yarn about one of the most mind-bending paradoxes in modern finance. The kind that makes you question if money is just a giant game of cosmic trust fall. We're talking about the US national debt, that colossal pile of IOUs that's basically the scaffolding holding up the entire global economy. Picture this. If Uncle Sam ever ghosted on his payments, the whole world wouldn't just hiccup. It'd flatline in under 48 hours. Banks would slam the brakes, markets would evaporate like mist in the morning sun, and that crisp dollar bill in your pocket, suddenly as worthless as a floppy disk in the cloud era. Welcome to my corner of the universe, where we dissect money might end the messy tapestry of history, because nothing's ever as straightforward as a spreadsheet screams. Now, let's rewind the clock and unpack this beast. What we casually label US debt isn't some dusty ledger entry. It's the invisible skeleton propping up everything from your home loan to the price of your morning bagel. Yank that out, and it's not just an American oopsie. It's a worldwide faith meltdown, the grand finale of the financial circus as we know it. But to grasp the drama of a potential tumble, we gotta trace how this towering edifice got built, and why the planet's wealthiest superpower is also its biggest borrower. Flashback to 1790. A fledgling America, fresh off its revolutionary hangover, was buried under war debts to soldiers, locals, and overseas pals. Most nations would have shrugged and stiffed the bill. Enter Alexander Hamilton, the Treasury whiz with a vision. Embrace the debt like a long-lost relative. His pitch? By borrowing smart and paying up reliably, America could prove it was the ultimate safe bet in a chaotic world of crumbling kingdoms. Boom. Hamilton's wild gamble paid off. The US started slinging bonds, those fancy promises to repay, and actually kept its word. Investors flocked like bees to honey. Confidence ballooned. In Europe's trading pits, American debt became the hot commodity. The young republic didn't just win freedom on the battlefield. It bankrolled its destiny on sheer belief. That trust. It morphed into the bedrock of American clout. Every boom era. From the railroad frenzy to the industrial boom, the New Deal's safety nets, and WWII's arsenal, got juiced by borrowing. Debt wasn't a red flag of frailty. It was the turbo engine of growth. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, and this engine was revving the whole planet. In 1944, amid the smoldering ashes of World War II, 44 nations huddled in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to sketch a fresh economic blueprint. Their bold move? Peg the global money machine to the US dollar and tie that dollar to gold. Voila. Every big league currency now hinged on America's vow. Post-war, the US hoarded 2/3 of the world's gold stash and half its factories. Faith in the dollar? Rock solid. Foreign govs stashed dollars like prized heirlooms, and when they craved safe investments, they scooped up US Treasury bonds. American debt became the planet's ultimate piggy bank. But faith ain't forever. By the late 60s, Vietnam's quagmire and domestic spending sprees had the US hemorrhaging dollars faster than gold could cover. Nations started cashing in paper for the shiny stuff. The Treasury's gold vaults emptied like a leaky faucet. Then, in 1971, Richard Nixon dropped the mic with a decision that reshaped the century. He uncoupled the dollar from gold. Overnight, cash wasn't backed by metal anymore. Its worth hinged purely on confidence and the US government's pledge to honor its debts. That pledge birthed our current reality, the debt standard. No more gold anchor. The world's faith in US treasuries took its place. It was a silent coup. For the first time, America could mint endless credit, as long as the globe kept the illusion alive. Treasury bonds. The safest play on earth. Not because they're foolproof, but because everyone collectively pretends they are. Banks lean on them as collateral. Pension funds treat them like bedrock. Central banks hoard them like dragons with treasure. When folks yammer about the national debt, they're not talking a tab to settle. It's the core wiring of worldwide finance. Every loan, every wild derivative, every credit card swipe. They're all layered atop US government debt. The system thrives on a ritual. When old bonds expire, new ones roll out. America never truly pays off. It just refinances eternally. As long as that cycle spins, the facade of stability endures. But snap that chain. Even one skip payment. And poof, the mirage shatters. Treasuries underpin the global banking web. A default screams that the risk-free asset is now a gamble. Liquidity dries up in hours. Banks turn paranoid. The dollar tanks. We've seen many versions. A 1979 tech glitch delayed payments for days, spiking rates and echoing for years. In 2011, Congress's debt ceiling standoff tanked the US credit score for the first time, wiping trillions off markets in weeks. These weren't fiscal Armageddons. They were mind games. The whole economy rests on one bedrock belief. America always pays. That faith has flipped debt into America's top export. Other countries hawk widgets.
The U.S. peddles promises. Each bond bolsters another nation's reserves, a bank's buffer, a retiree's nest egg. Here's the kicker. The grand irony of American supremacy. The U.S. doesn't need to erase its debt. It must nurture it. The world craves it. Try paying it all off, and you'd implode the very framework that props you up. Debt's no burden anymore. It's the star product. Yet even ironclad faith cracks. By 2025, U.S. debt hit $38 trillion. Annual interest, nearing a cool trillion. Matching defense spending. We're borrowing to service past loans, like a hamster wheel on steroids. The gears grind louder yearly. Political theater has weaponized the debt ceiling, making investors twitch. Foreign holders like China, Japan, and Saudi Arabia are trimming their stakes. Central banks are sneaking back to gold. Nations from Brazil to India are hatching dollar-free trade schemes. For the first time in decades, crack spiderweb across global trust in U.S. debt. Not from cash shortages, but from fractured unity. When belief is the glue, politics becomes the ticking bomb.
What if America can't pay? It's not about greenbacks, it's about conviction. And once lost, belief's the one asset no treasury can conjure. A default wouldn't erupt like a blockbuster crash. It'd start as a glitch, a missed check, a bureaucratic blunder spun in a presser. But backstage, every algo, every trader, every central banker feels the chill. The unthinkable's now tangible. The world's safest bet? Unsafe. Hour 1. Markets lock up. Treasuries are the financial spine, backing loans, trades, derivatives. No guarantee banks halt lending. Hedge funds starve. Global finance clogs like a rusty pipe. Stocks nosedive. Not from bad biz, but from vanishing future certainty. Panic ripples outward. Foreign banks clutching trillions in U.S. debt scramble for cover. The dollar craters as folks bolt to gold, euros, or crypto. Anything smelling of stability. Rates soar. Loans. Credit cards, mortgages, autos, skyrocketing cost. Week 1. U.S. Gov can't fund troops, Social Security, or meds. Week 2. Global economy in full arrest. But the real tale? It's trust. The U.S. doesn't just crank out cash. It manufactures faith. Break that, and no central bank can patch it. Every empire hits this wall. Rome's denarius, Britain's pound. They learned. Currency endures only as long as the empires glow. Fade that, and even gold crumbles. America's unraveling starts in the data. Trading screens, rate gaps, hushed central bank chats. Then it bleeds everywhere. Pensions evaporate, payrolls miss, nations ditch the dollar for self-preservation. The world decouples from the U.S., not in rage, but instinct. Some dream China or another rising star seizing the crown, but trust builds slow and shatters fast. No instant new reserve, just turmoil where every deal costs extra because value's a mystery. Default? Not money's death, but meanings. And the cruel twist, it wouldn't stem from empty coffers. America controls the printing press. It could settle up instantly. But if gridlock or ideology jams the works, it's insolvency's twin. Confidence ignores the why. It sees the bounce. We've glimpsed the omens. 2011's near miss cost trillions and a historic downgrade that lingers. 2023's standoff forced emergency hacks to keep the ship afloat. Each scare, the world flinches, then shrugs. But faith erodes, not resets. Interest eats $1 trillion annually now. More than fresh investments. The sums scream unsustainability. Yet the true peril? Complacency. Assuming the machine self-renews because it always did. History begs to differ. Empire's twilight sees money shift from tool to trust placebo. Govs print, borrow, splurge to dodge decay, till the charade's too pricey. Currency wobbles, inflation climbs, world pivots. US isn't there yet, but it's treading Rome's path of eroded credibility over coin. A default would cap an era, not from bad math, but a frayed narrative. For 80 years, the globe bet on America's system. Laws, institutions, dollar. Outlasting storms. That wager-fueled trade, investment, peace. Lose it, and chaos reigns, not order. Even if we dodge the abyss, scars linger. Each standoff, downgrade, broke, headline gnaws at America's invincibility myth. Next debt ceiling tango. Markets recall. Next yield spike. Banks hedge. Power drifts from DC not via coups, but prudence. Modern empires crumble through diversification, not doom. The world won't battle the dollar. It'll outgrow it. So the US's biggest threat. Not tomorrow's default, but yearly political poker and fiscal binges making faith's fade inevitable. Treating credit as a toy, not duty, backfires. When the world deems America risky, it's debt. Once strength.
becomes Achilles' heel. America forged its empire on paradox, boundless debt propped by boundless trust. For now, it endures. Investors gobble treasuries, the dollar rules trade, markets cling to too big to fail. But trust, like any currency, devalues with overuse. If the day dawns when America can't pay, via politics or ruin, it defaults not on creditors, but on legacy. The dream that a nation could borrow eternally, govern via confidence, and evade every empire's reckoning. Truth bomb. The world runs on trust, not cash. And trust. That's the one thing no mint can produce. Woo. That was a deep dive, wasn't it? If this flipped your worldview on its head, give it a share or drop a comment. I'm all ears for your takes. History's full of wild lessons, and I'm here to unpack them with a dash of wit and zero fluff. Stay curious, my friends.